Yeah, we're just going to have questions. So I'd love to have the first question from anyone who's out there. Just so we can recap and know who I am. I am Naomi Johnson. I am the head training consultant at Really Connect. I've been here for over a year now, working with our clients to identify where their needs are within LinkedIn, how it fits within their business development model, and whether it's the right thing for each of their businesses. Because often people, they sit staring at LinkedIn feeling that they should be doing something on it, but they have absolutely no idea what, or they're just not getting results from it that they are told that they could be getting, and therefore they just sit staring at it, wondering what on earth is this thing for, when actually all they need to know is just a little bit of information, a little bit of focus as to who it is they want to get in touch with and be shown how to do that. I always say, well, I don't say, lots of people say, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. How often do you take a bite of the elephant? When you're hungry. So for lots of people, you only need to know as much about LinkedIn as you need for any point in your business development strategy to actually fulfill it. So what I'd love to do is jump on some people's profiles and, oh look, I'm in the chat, not the questions. Let me just see if I've got questions. Yeah, okay, cool. So again, if you have questions, please do pop them into the GoToWebinar box, and I will be very, very happy to answer them for you. So I've got a question here about summaries on the profile, whether and what to put in the experience box. So the key thing about your summary on your LinkedIn profile, Bernadette, is with the summary, you really want to put in there exactly what it is that you want people to know about you. You need to always be asking the question, what is it that I need, what is it that my ideal client needs to know about me in order to be interested in what I have to offer? So you just jump straight into the thing they most need to know. Remember, they're not here to read your life story. They're going to get easily distracted. They only have, probably you have about 5 seconds to make an impression, to grab their attention and want to stay with you. So you want to get straight to the heart of the problem that you solve straight away, so people go, oh, that's interesting, and choose to read more. Try very hard not to put the summary of your CV in there. The experience section is everywhere you should be putting everything you've ever done career-wise. And the reason why we say fill that out and go as back as far as is logical is because it's your credibility statement. It's the thing that justifies why you're qualified to do the job that you're doing today. So if you're a consultant or a coach, people who are going to hire you, they want to know your background. They want to know what you've done before, where you've been, and what you've achieved, to know that actually you do know what you're talking about and you'd be a valuable source of information for them. So that goes in your experience. Try and backdate it as far as possible, and the summary is the first thing you want people need to know. Not what you want them to know, but what they need to know about you in order to be interested in what you have to offer. So I hope that answers the question. Okay, so I've got a question here from Michael. He says, does LinkedIn really deliver business results? How do I know I'm not wasting my time? That's a really good question, really, really good. And I think it's hazard to guess that most people on LinkedIn probably are wasting their time at the moment if they haven't got a clear strategy. And the reason why I can say that is because if you don't know who it is you're looking for, who you're looking to find on there, and what the purpose is for being on there, you're not really going to get the results that you need. You need to be very, very clear on who your ideal client is, who it is that you are working for, what are their interests, what are their needs, what do they need to, what problems do they have, what do they need to have solved. And you need to be clear exactly what it is that you're delivering for them. And when you do know that, it's really easy then to run a very specific advanced search and produce a complete list of highly targeted leads. Now, most people will do an advanced search. They might put sales directors in a certain location. They get a whole big list and they don't know what to do with it next. The best next thing to do is get a bit more specific. Sales directors in what area, what industry, really whittle it down and understand who it is that you want to know. And then when you've done that, you can start thoroughly researching each of those prospects and seeing whether they are actually somebody that you would benefit from being in contact with. And And then if they are, it's about getting in touch with them. Now, obviously, that's the question, isn't it? How do you get in touch with someone? They're just a name on a list. What is the right way to make contact? And it's a tricky one because it all comes down to social etiquette, which is one of the webinars that we previously did in the series. And I strongly recommend people go back and listen to it because it's very much about not burning the trust in your network and honoring the relationship that's right there in front of you. And a lot of it is really thinking about how you would relate to somebody in the real world. And the same rules really do apply online. So it's all about how you get in touch with that person. So in terms of getting results, if your business is to find new clients and new contracts and business, then you must know who it is that who are those people that buy from you, and therefore by running an advanced search, by knowing how to get in contact with them, by being able to start conversations, by knowing how to have that conversation in a structured way, which most salespeople do know. A lot of small businesses and solo entrepreneurs tend not to know, and that's something we can help you with, is how to have that conversation and get started talking to that prospect about possibly working with you. Now, I always say that if you have plenty of appointments and you have a conversion rate, you should be able to bring in new business. So if it's appointments that get new business, then LinkedIn can get you appointments. And it's just learning to do that. And that's very much what we do on our course, the Proactive Business course, Proactive Business Development course, which is where we will actually be really helping people to understand exactly what it is that they're looking to achieve from LinkedIn, who it is they want to get in touch with, and then knowing how to get in contact with them and making that part an integral part of your business development program. Because we all know that a business development plan is what gets us results. And it's about following it. It's about having enough appointments. And so, yeah, LinkedIn will be a waste of time if you don't focus on appointments. So I'm being distracted by questions. So let me see. And if there's someone here saying, could you give me a review of my profile? Absolutely. Please do paste in the link to your profile in the questions, and I will be very happy to look at it for you and give you some feedback. So in case you don't know how to find that link, I'm going to go and show you. Let me have a look. Okay, so on your profile, the link that you're looking for is this one here underneath your profile. You just pick that up, copy it, and paste it into the questions section. And I will be able to give you some feedback. Don't worry, I won't be too harsh. This is open to everyone to see, so we'll be kind. If you want to do that, that's great, and I'll start giving some feedback on those shortly. So just while people are doing that, the question has just come in about the appointments. I was just talking about getting the right number of appointments. I want to show you something, a really cool tool that we put together that will really demonstrate the real value of LinkedIn and how it really does bring you business. So as you can see on my screen right now, I've got an Excel document open, and I've put in here the current situation for your business and another one which is your ideal situation. Now, most of the people I hear when I talk to them about LinkedIn, a lot of them will say, oh, my business relies on word of mouth, and others will say, well, the problem with my business is that I keep getting clients that are not really my ideal clients, and we're not working with the people we most want to work with, but that's the type of business that comes in. And I say, well, that's kind of obvious because you're relying on word of mouth, and one of the key things with word of mouth is that people will always refer people like themselves. So if you've always had a certain type of client who's a particular type, they will refer people like themselves, and you'll end up with more of that type. So you're kind of going to be in this repetitive cycle of always working with the same types of clients. And that's something we want to help you avoid. We want to help you get the business you dream of and actually work with the people you most want to work with. So on this spreadsheet, what I've done is I've put down the average sales value for what perhaps a company is currently doing, and what would be the average sale value if you were actually working with your ideal client. So, for example, if at the moment your average sale value is £500, meaning that you charge all different rates of money, but when you actually add up the number of people you've worked with over a month or so, and you work out the sales value from each of those invoices, you find the average. In this case, the average sales value for the example at hand here is £500. but that's because you're working with that particular type of client. But if you know that you'd rather be working with a different type of client who actually could buy a bigger deal from you, sign off more buying from you, then you would say, well, actually, if I was working with my ideal client, perhaps the average sales value per invoice would actually be £2,500. So that's the average sales value that each new person coming on board with you would actually spend £2,500 with you in the initial stages. That's not the lifelong value of the customer, just in the initial stages. So current situation, 500, ideal situation, 2,500. Now, I assume, as I said earlier on, that you're all going on sales appointments. You're all aiming to meet with as many people as possible to expose your business, tell them about your business and what it is that you do and how you do it, and offer it as a solution to that person so that person signs up with you and comes on board. Now, this is really interesting because a lot of people haven't actually worked out how many appointments they do go on per week or what the capacity is they could go on if they were fully booked. I spoke to someone the other week who was selling insurance, and he went on appointments whenever they happened, but getting appointments was not his main focus. He was just doing whatever he felt like at different times. He was playing around on Facebook, playing around a bit on LinkedIn, and an appointment came up and he put it in his diary. And I said to him, how much is that appointment worth to you? And he said, £500. And I said, okay, so each appointment you go on, and if that person buys from you, it's worth £500 they buy. And he says, yes, it is worth £500. I said, okay, how many appointments are you going on at the moment? He said, about 3. So I'll put 3 in there. And he said that about 30% of those people per week would actually sign up, which meant he got 1 sale per week. And therefore, basically this is an average, of course, his average income per week was £450. I said, how many appointments can you be going on per week? And he said, I could be going on 10. So you put 10 in and you keep the conversion rate, you then see that instead of £450 per week, you're actually making £1,500 per week. And that's instantly, just by going on more appointments but keeping the same conversion rate, he's actually made more money. And that's by going out with the same people. Then we bring it back down to, okay, well, if you're actually going on sales appointments with your ideal client, the ones that you definitely know will buy more from you at the higher amount, and you go on 10 appointments per week, you then end up with £7,500. But what happens if you change the conversion rate? Well, that would change the number of sales you made per week as well. And the interesting thing with LinkedIn is because you're leveraging trust in your network by actually asking for an introduction, from somebody that who already knows, likes, and trusts you, by the very fact that they've introduced you to that person, they now like you better, and there's a higher rate they will choose to work with you over anybody else, especially if you're in an industry where there's not much differentiation between you and it's really just a bit of chemistry. Do you have chemistry with this person? Do they see themselves working with you? Do they like you? Do they know you? Do they trust you? Introductions will instantly change your conversion rate. You won't have to work so hard to gain their trust or their interest because you know already that they are interested and someone has given you a good introduction. So instantly that is going to change your conversion rates. But I just want to show you what this is like at the moment. So let's go with the original example that was currently going on, let's say 5 appointments, and now he's going to go on 10 appointments. So if I bring you over to the other sheet, you'll see right here we can see the difference in income this is going to be making to our business. So at the moment we're making £7,500 per week. Then we decide that we're going to go on more appointments, but we're going to convert the same amount. We end up with 1,550. So we've increased our business by 100% just by increasing the number of appointments we go on. Then we make sure that actually of the appointments, we're going to make sure we're going on appointments of the right caliber. That might, in the initial stages, drop the number of appointments we're going on. So we'll keep the same number of appointments, 5 per week, but now we're actually going to have the right sales value for each one. So we've now increased our income by 900%. Can you see what I'm doing there? The reason why is because we're going on the same number of appointments, but we've increased the amount people buy from us. So I just want to pop back in here a second. The number of sales per week. I'm just going to put this back to what it was a minute ago because it was showing something interesting in there. When I bring this over, yeah, there we go. I don't know why that figure was the same a minute ago, but you can see here when we have really changed this. So now what I've done there is I've just changed the number of appointments to 15 instead of 10. We can see that when we go on more appointments with the right people, we've now increased our income to £11,250. Now that is a big, big increase compared to the original 1,500. And all we've done there is make sure that we're going on the right appointments with the right people that can buy more from us, and that we're going on more appointments. What has this got to do with LinkedIn? LinkedIn is how you get those appointments. LinkedIn is how you leverage the dormant trust in your network to get introduction to the people that you need to be going and having meetings with. The biggest mistake I see people make on LinkedIn is that they are continually pushing out messages and status updates and commenting in groups, which are all great strategies, but they have no real goal in mind. They have no outcome that they're definitely focused on. This is my outcome from doing this. When you marry those two things together, your social media and your business development plan together, and recognize that appointments are what come, that appointments is where the sales come from, and LinkedIn is the thing that can get you those appointments, then you've dramatically increased your business. Then when you go to LinkedIn, you're there solely to meet people, to build relationships up, to start chatting with people, and in talking with people, you can bring it round to, hey, why don't we get on the phone and have a conversation about this? I think this is something I could help you with. Or, hey, look, this conversation is going well. I think there's something I could do here for you. How about we meet up or have a chat about it? No obligation. Just let's see if I can add some value and see where I can help out. That's a sales appointment, and that's come directly from LinkedIn. So that's where those two things really marry up. And I think most people, they're doing LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter for the sake of it without actually realizing why it is that they're doing it. And we are seeing a lot of social media specialists and strategists coming on board these days, and they're almost the equivalent of the PR person that companies use. Well, they still do have PR people, but the whole reason we do PR, the whole reason we do social media is to increase sales. And therefore, the appointment has to be the connecting thing between the two, and focusing all of your activities on LinkedIn and Facebook into how you build relationships up with people in such a way that it comes to the point where they are interested, they are your prospects, someone who would buy from you, and they're willing to have a conversation with you. I'd love to get some feedback on that, some interactivity if anyone's out there. I know there are lots of people on the call, but not a lot of questions coming in. So please remember there are no silly questions, just silly people. No, I don't mean it. I'm just playing with you. There are no silly questions. Really, they're not, because you'll be surprised that how many people also don't know the answer to that question and would be very, very grateful to you for having asked it. And there's often a lot of learning we can get from other people asking questions, but much more coming from when people have actually asked the question themselves. So if you want to pop a question in, that would be great, and I will answer it for you. I'm just going to sort of look through now and pick one out. Okay, here's one. Should I be accepting every single invitation that comes into my business, into my LinkedIn profile? The answer to that, in my opinion, is no, and I'm pretty sure that Bert and Mike would agree with me. There are people out there who are called lions. You will see written on their profile L-I-O-N, lion in capital letters, and this is where somebody has said, I'm a LinkedIn open networker. They are saying, I am going to connect with everybody I can and be really, really well networked, but actually I don't know any of these people at all. I want to show you something on the platform as to why doing that is a really silly idea. So I'm going to go and click on Advanced up at the top there. This is an advanced search, and I'm going to run a search and get some results. So I'm going to look for somebody who is a sales director, and I want them to be located in or near UK, and in fact I'm going to go with somewhere in Portsmouth. So I put the beginning of the postcode in there, and I have said that I want them to be within 50 miles, but you know what, I'm going to take that right down to 10 miles. And so these people are in Portsmouth and they're sales directors. And I haven't selected which industry, which I could do. I could put a lot more in there if I wanted to. And it's giving me results for people who are my first degree connections, second degree connections, and group members. So obviously group members are people who are members of a group that I'm part of. And second degree connection is somebody I don't know, that I have no personal relationship with, but somebody I do know knows them. And first degree is obviously somebody I do know. So I actually saw this happen with somebody once where they were reaching out to someone that they really wanted to talk to, and they ran this search. It came up in this green bit here. They had 156 people in common. There were 156 people that knew this person as well as just knew this person. And then I checked and saw that actually next to the name, that person was a first degree connection. Now, a first degree connection means you're already connected with them in your network. Like Russell here, we are connected to one another. We met last week, and we're now a first degree connection. So sometimes if you don't know your first degree connection very well, it's going to be really, really hard to go to them and say, hey, I've got this opportunity, would you like to talk about it? Because you don't know them well enough, and it feels strange. What you really want is an introduction to that person, where the person says, actually, this person could be really interested in what you're saying. So let's look at James here from Novatech. If I wanted to get in touch with James, the person we have in common is David Scarlett. I could go to David and say, David, I see that you know James. I was just wondering, how well do you know James? Would you be willing enough to introduce me for what I'm currently up to? And David will go, well, what are you currently up to? And we'd have a catch-up. And then he would say, actually, yeah, I do know James really well. I know what's going on in James's company right now, and I'll give you an introduction. And that's a warm introduction, and it bypasses a lot of the relationship building. Then if I went to James directly and I sent him an email and said, hey, James, I don't know you, but I have this great thing that I think is really great for you, and I really want you to do this with me, and I want you this, and could you please get in touch with me? And James is like, I didn't know I needed that. I don't know who you are. I'm too busy. Oh, I'll come back to it later. You're not high on my agenda. Thank you for disturbing me. And he's most likely to ignore it and move on, unless you've got a really compelling message and product. So by getting the introduction, it's much better. So back to the question, should you accept people who are into as connections who you don't know? The answer would be no, because you will end up with somebody being a first degree connection to you that you don't know, that you can't actually approach. And as you can see here, Russell and I have got 10 shared connections. And actually I could go to those people, but if I looked at all 10 and there are people here I didn't know, there would be absolutely no value to me whatsoever. I would not be able to ask for an introduction because I don't know that person. And the person I don't know can't introduce me to somebody they don't know. And so the whole thing breaks down. So therefore, when you do just keep it to people you know and have met before, no matter how briefly, that really is where you're going to get a lot better search results. You don't want to be like the guy who had 156 people that he had in common, that he had a shared connection for, but actually he was connected to that person as well, because that's a lot of people you have to go through to see who's got the strong enough relationship to introduce you. And one of the things I do, I talk to a lot of people, because as we say, it's all about leveraging the trust in your network, you really want to kind of check up like how you feel about this person. If you get on really well with them and you think, yeah, I actually could go to this person and ask for an introduction, or I'd like to be in contact with this person again, that's a really great reason to connect with them. But if you had a conversation with someone and it just didn't go well, and there wasn't that vibe between you, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I got on with that person, don't know if I like them, I wouldn't connect with them because, well, you could do. There is something to be said about it, but if you connect with them and again you can't approach them for an introduction, or you don't want to work with them in the future, it does beg the question as to why you would have them there. Of course, you might want to take them on for exposure to your business, letting people know who you are, what you do, and they might like your service updates, etc. And in that respect, it's worth doing. But I've seen people come to me and said, I've asked them, hey, I don't know you, what's the reason that you're reaching out? And they said, oh, I'm just trying to build up all my contacts so I have 3,000 connections and I'm going to really start my marketing on LinkedIn. And I'm like, whoa, that's like completely the wrong approach. Actually, you can do far more with a quality network of 500 than you can do with 300 people you don't have a clue who they are. So, yeah, that's definitely something to think about there. Any comments or questions about what I just said? Do you agree with what I just said, or do you have a different policy for how you do things? Because everybody does, and that's absolutely fine if you have a different way of doing things. Yeah, most people are saying that makes sense. I only accept people I know. Okay, someone's saying, is it okay for me to go back to somebody and say, I'm sorry, I don't know you? Absolutely. I think it's in the way that you word it. You want to be nice. And be aware that some people, as nice as you say it, they will take it strangely. We've had some very strange responses in our time from people who've said this to. But generally what we found is when people just click the connect button without introducing themselves and saying why they want to be in touch. And so going back and asking them, hey, why is it you want to be in touch, gives them the opportunity to say what their interest is and begin the conversation. So a lot of business leads can come in there. If your profile doesn't tell people directly how they should be getting in touch with you, having read your profile and they're interested, what they should do next in order to continue the relationship with you and get to know you, then you are literally asking for them to send you a connection message. And most people don't know to actually put an introduction in there. So most likely you've got a lot of business leads just sitting there in that inbox of names you just don't know. It's always worth going back to them, asking them, hey, we don't know each other. I was just wondering, what's the purpose for reaching out to me? Do it in your own words, your own language, whatever feels comfortable to you, to ask them. And I think you'd be really surprised how many new relationships begin through doing that. And it's absolutely fine to do that, because you would never walk up to somebody at a networking event and hand over your business card and then walk away again. Just, here's my card, walk away. You just wouldn't do it. And sending a LinkedIn invitation without introducing yourself is pretty much the same thing. So make sure you always tell people why you're getting connected. I'll give a demonstration of that actually. And then let me run an advanced search. Be really careful what buttons you click on, because if I clicked it inside out, I wouldn't have been able to give him an introduction. So if I click connect here, it'll ask me how I know James. And I don't know James because I haven't been introduced to him before. So normally people either click other. If I click I don't know James, it will give me a message saying, well, why are you connecting with him? But if I click any of these things here, and I manage to get that invitation to go through, it will give me the option well, here, it gives you the option to write something. It gives you the standard text, but I would definitely recommend that you write your own thing in there. To say, hey, we met at this event, or I know you from school, how's things going? And just give some people a reason why they should be connecting with you. Because when that comes into your inbox, it's going to be the thing that jumps out to you, and you're going to be answering it quicker. And same for the person receiving it from you. They will be able to go, oh, right, okay, this is interesting. I'm going to respond to this person, rather than, why is this invite in my inbox? So always introduce yourself. And always go back to people who haven't been able to. Sometimes an invitation will come through without you, the person, being able to say so. That does happen. I probably ping up a few a week where I'm like, oh, you didn't give me the option to tell them why I was introducing myself. So it's, yeah, it happens. So go back to people, ask them really nicely, like, hey, what's the reason that you wanted to get in touch? Is there anything I can help you with? And you'll be surprised the kind of conversations that you can have that way. Do make sure on your profile that you have said in advice for contacting how best someone should get in touch with you. I'll just demonstrate that for you as well on my profile. There's a section, haven't filled it in, and therefore it's not showing on their LinkedIn profile. So I'm just going to wait for that to load, because I have to wait because it's really slow. I can't work out if the computer's slowing down off its internet, because it's been really bad lately. So when you come all the way down my profile, all the way down, So people don't often read this far as well, which is the other thing to be really aware of when designing your profile. Put this information higher up. So you can see here, I've got advice for contacting. Thank you for contacting me. My aim is to develop a quality network on LinkedIn of people I know, like, and trust. If we don't know each other yet, then please do be in touch, letting me know in your introduction message what you'd like to connect about. I'd be delighted to touch with you and add value in any way I can. Just so you know, I do not accept requests from people I do not know or who don't state their reason for contact. You get that in there. You're perfectly covered to go back and ask people why. You can also direct people forward as well as to what they could do. Hey, and actually you're all welcome to do this, by the way. You're all welcome to sign up for a 30-minute LinkedIn Accelerator session where I will give you a review of your current LinkedIn strategy and your profile. So that's something that people sign up from frequently. And also, you can also email me or phone me at the office if you want to get in touch a bit more than that. So that's one of the things you can do. If you wanted to bring this up, which having looked at this now, I can see lots of improvements on an Excel profile, always. And remember, profiles are always changing and growing with you. Let me see now. Advice for contacting in the edit mode. You can actually lift these sections up and take them up higher. I don't think I'm in the right mode to do it. I'll do that later. I'll show you later. So yeah, I hope that answers the question there about accepting invitations. It's totally up to you, but make sure you tell people on your profile exactly why you want to be connected and exactly how they should get into contact with you as well, what your preferred method of contact is. And if that's you've got a freebie on your website that you'd rather than go and download first, then obviously tell them that. Tell them to go download your profile, your download on your website. So hopefully that answers that question. If I've not got any other questions, I will sign off. Anybody out there with a really pending question they really want to ask, or they want to have their profile looked over and get some feedback on their profile? You're being very quiet. Quite a lot of the questions have been the same as well, so I'll be able to pull them together. Any more questions before we sign out? Because we've been here for 35 minutes, which is what we said approximately we would be here for. Any more questions? Going once? Going twice? All right. Okay, cool. So I think we'll call it a day there for now. Just so you are aware, this is really, really exciting. We've got this new business course coming up called How to Really Use LinkedIn, the Proactive Business Development course, Part 1. I have a question. Okay, I'm not seeing that question, Rich, so thank you for putting that through. Jenny, I'll come to you in just a second and definitely answer that for you. But Jenny, just one thing with the link that you have sent me, that's taking the link out of the box at the top. That's not going to bring me to your profile, unfortunately. So if you could just look under your photo, you'll see one there, and it will, as I'm highlighting on the screen right now, that's the link that business. And the great thing about it is there's going to be a real social accountability element to it, because a lot of this is about behavior change, how you change, making LinkedIn a habit and knowing how to communicate and get in touch with people in a way that leads to them knowing, liking, and trusting you. So this is the course. It can actually give you, with the code in Business Builders, actually, the price went down to £97 per unit. Any problems with that, do call us on the information below. Okay, I'm just getting a flash saying something about audio problems. I'm not sure what that is. Hopefully it's all right. So, Rich, has Jenny managed to get us the correct URL for her profile yet? Because I'd love to jump in there and give her some feedback on it. I only have her first name though, unfortunately. Okay, so the sound has gone apparently. Can you hear? It did go off, but it should have come back now. Can anyone actually hear me? Jenny, I just need to get your profile URL, which is underneath your photo on your profile. We haven't received that, so we're going to run out of time, unfortunately. However, if I just do this in the box for you, I will send this out to everybody. Oh, I can't do that. That's interesting. Let me type it up here. Nope, can't do that either. Okay, great. Well, I can't do that. What we can do is, if I just come into PowerPoint here, if you go to, I'm just trying to think of the best thing to do. Put it on a new slide, that'll help. So if you want to go to this URL here, then we will be able to sign you up for a LinkedIn profile review, and you can have a session with myself, and I will go through that with you personally, your LinkedIn profile. I have a cool question from Barry. Would you like your insights on today's new to me appearance, how you rank for profile reviews next to who's viewed your profile? On today's new. Yeah, I haven't experimented with that, Barry, actually. Let me bring up my profile. Yeah, I saw, I need to move this thing out of the way. I saw this today. Your profile has views improved by 1% in the past 30 days. Unlock the full list with LinkedIn. I guess that's really cool because it's showing that your activity is actually increasing in popularity, that your activities are actually drawing more people to your profile. And then it would actually beg the question, are you getting more leads than you previously were? Are people actually responding to what's on your profile in a positive way? They are actually interested in what you're offering? Or are you getting people viewing your profile that aren't your target audience? So there's a lot of good questions there. And I've actually seen it's actually maybe I did visit your profile. I've actually seen a massive increase in the number of people asking to connect with me in the last week or so, and struggled to keep up with it actually. So if I haven't responded to you yet, I'm sorry. So yeah, I would say that's a really great tool. And you could be using it to check whether A, your activities are leading more people to your profile, and B, are you getting more invitations to connect, people reaching out and wanting to know more about you? Are you getting more downloads from your website? Are you getting more views of your content, your slide shares? And is it turning into more conversations and appointments? Because if it's not turning into more appointments, then you need to ask yourself why and what can you change in order to make people actually come through for you. They want to work with you. And again, it's making sure the people who viewed your profile are your target audience. Okay, so Rich, do we have Jenny's new link for her profile yet? I would assume you would have sent it to me if we had it. So I'm thinking we don't. That's a shame, because Jenny, if I had your telephone, your surname, I could probably do a search for you, but I don't have it. I could end up on someone completely random. Cool. All right, shame about that. But again, you can sign up for a session with myself, reallyconnect.com LinkedIn profile review. However, I strongly recommend that you see our event that we've got coming up 10th of June in London, 24th of June in Portsmouth. This is really going to shape this for you, your business results, because it's all about putting LinkedIn in context inside of your business development plan. We all have a business development plan. We all know that we need to get new clients, and it's about making that work. It's about making sure that your activities, that you're not doing loads of wasteful activities on LinkedIn, but you're going in specifically 9 minutes a day to get exactly what you want from it. We did a webinar, the first or second one we did in our series, that really covered, is LinkedIn a time waster or an effective business tool? And we're going to really make LinkedIn an effective business tool for you, not make it a time waster. And we're also going to ensure that you get clients from this work as well. So it's a really amazing investment with our discount, it's just £97. If you need a promo code, come to me and ask me for one. It's actually at the moment Business Builders. If that doesn't work, just come back to me. So this is what we're doing, and we'd love to have you along. So I'm going to sign off because Jenny hasn't come back with her URL, which is a shame, and time is running out. So great having everybody with us today. Thank you for your questions. I hope it's been useful. Obviously, if you haven't had a question, we would have hoped that you would have asked it. So you must all feel good. And please do be in touch with myself if you want to. My information is just here, naomi@reallyconnect.com and uk.linkedin.com/in/Naomi Johnson UK, and Twitter is coach_marketing. So we look forward to hearing from you soon. And let me tell you how to sign up for this course. That would be really useful. That's all. That's really silly. The course can be found at reconnect/proactive. There we go. That is for the course. If you want to go and read more about that and see what it's all about. Okay, good. Well, you're sticking around. I appreciate you sticking around. Anyone got any more questions? I don't see any new ones coming in. Rich, you're pushing some through to me occasionally, but they're not coming in on the question thing. So I assume that's all the different questions we've had. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day and be in touch if you like. Oh, we have one from Keith. Keith has asked a question. Naomi, can you please explain how to respond to an invitation to connect by sending a message without actually accepting or rejecting the connection immediately? Keith, that is a great question. Thank you for that. Hold on. Clicking OK will cause you to leave the webinar. No, do that correctly. Don't want to end the webinar unnecessarily. Right, so I've got a chunk of connections that I need to work through actually. So let me show you something really fun. Invitations to connect. Somebody I don't know that I need to ask them, why are you connecting with me? This person. Okay, so I'm going to click on that drop down button next to the accept, and I'm going to click on don't reply yet. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show you something really cool, right? There is this thing called Text Expander, and in here I've got all of the things I say to people really frequently, so I don't have to write it out all the time. Such like my default signature, if someone needs to cancel an appointment with me, and I've got Naomi's LinkedIn. There we go. No, that's my LinkedIn URL, so I don't have to write it. You've both seen me on this webinar actually do this a few times, where I haven't actually written the whole snippet in, and I'm still learning what my codes are, but they're really easy. Once you've learned them, you really know what they are. Oh, I'm not sure what mine is actually. I'll respond as if I'm Mike. Here we go. Mike, L-I Mike. That wasn't it, was it? It said Mike, L-I. Ah, look at that. The message just appeared. I can send it. I can send her that. So then you literally just say, hi Philippa, I noticed you reached out to connect. Forgive me if I'm not mistaken, but we don't know each other yet, do we? I'm building a quality network. I typically only connect with people I've met before, identify why they're hoping to connect with me. This is what we teach in our LinkedIn training. Can I ask you, what was the reason for reaching out? Have a spectacular day. And I send it. And it stays in my invitations. I can archive it if I wanted to. But literally, that's how I do it. So again, well, I'm not going to do it again because that isn't how I would phrase things, so I have a different message to Mike. But that's literally what I do. I just go, ah, and it appears. Isn't that such a time saver? And answers the questions. So I have another question here. Keith, I hope that answers. I have a request from John. I'm just finishing working for my MYA recruitment, and I'm thinking about starting my own recruitment business from home. That is a really good idea. LinkedIn is definitely the place for you. And I would suggest our, I don't want to push it too much, but the course we're doing will really put that into perspective for you. About how you can be using it, the targets and numbers you need to be going for, the approach that you need to take, the culture on LinkedIn, the social etiquette that needs to be respected. So John, this is what I see when I come to your profile. I don't see a photo, so obviously I'm going to need that straight away because it's part of making me feel like I know you. It's a bit of a relationship. Endorsements, I wouldn't have that at the top if I were you. Oh, well, you need a summary, you need experience on there. Your experience will justify why you're qualified to do what you do today. A summary will tell people exactly who you like to work with and why, what types of clients you're looking for and how people can engage you, and why someone should want to engage you. So, yeah, that's, I would definitely update this, especially with 311 connections. This profile is really not working for you right now because there's literally nothing on here for people to connect with. So I don't have much more to say than that. Rich, is there any more questions sitting there that I can't see? Okay, someone has booked a chat with me on Friday. Great. Okay, right, we are at 51 minutes. I think it's time to stop. So please do email me at naomi@reallyconnect if you have something specific you want to talk about. Please remember this is a way to book into my diary, the LinkedIn profile review. And it can either be a profile review or we can talk about your strategies, up to you. And then if you want to know more about the course that we've got coming up, reallyconnect.com/proactive. And you'll be able to see on there everything we're going to be covering in this really great course. And I'm really excited about it because it's going to be the thing that helps people to get results. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How often do you eat the elephant? When you're hungry. You don't need to know everything about LinkedIn to get results. You just need to know what you want to get out of it and learn just the tools you need to get that result. So let's say goodbye. Anyone want to get in touch? This is how to do it. And or email me, naomi@reallyconnect.com. Or then let's say goodbye.